Cause he wanna life, yeah, life, I've been with me and back through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the limit, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, life, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the limit, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, flashing on these high beams, you won't step beside me, even if I'm blinded.
Going on, everybody. It's a fun Sunday, man. We are here to talk Cowboys football, man. Hopefully, you guys like the intro that I was able to come up with this week, man. Hopefully, you guys think, man, get some feedback on it, man. You know, just constantly trying to get better, trying to build the channel, and ultimately trying to interact with people a lot better. So let me know how you guys feel on the Sunday. I'm going to recap. I had an opportunity to really sit on watching what I watched last night in the game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Chargers. And at one point, when I go over all of my points, feel free to leave comments. Also, I'll leave a fan Q&A section as I always do. Before we do anything else, man, be sure to like, hit those bells when I come out with content. And if that's the house that I have, if they need which you get priority and you get credit. And I also want to let you guys know that I will be drafting all merch too as well. I just had for the first time. So, everyone I'm going to get some merch and I think we'll
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. Sometimes the audio does that. Let me know. Let me know. So if I got to go through all of that stuff again, it's tough. But I'm pretty much, everybody that sends a super chat, you get priority. And now, we're going to kind of go through the preseason game. But like I was pretty much saying, highs and lows. You don't really want to get too high in preseason. You don't want to get too low. You don't want your team really peaking right now. But ultimately, this process is about building the best possible roster that you can, and you're going to continue to add to it throughout the year, whether it be injury, whether it be performance. You want to be able to put the best product out there on the field. So appreciate you guys in the comment section letting me know that we were having audio issues, just like my guy Mark Holmes dealing with broke ass media here. And it's ultimately about me getting better as well and being able to interact with you guys. So without any further ado, I'm going to touch on my notes, right? So here are my notes. So what's going on with, and that's ultimately a part that we have in our show. And so what's going on with the first team offense for me, right? I had a big issue with our first team offense not playing in yesterday's preseason game. And I understand that it's just preseason. And I know that there were people on Twitter telling me, well, DMV, I mean, Dak had control of things last year. He doesn't need preseason. But for me, it's not about Dak. It's about everything around, surrounding. We need to know what that looks like under the bright lights. Whether it's a series, whether it's 2 series. In my opinion, I would much rather Dak have a little bit of rapport or a little bit of experience with those guys, with being able to bring guys to the ground, being able to go full speed a little bit. I think Dak is a veteran, don't get me wrong, but while Dak is a veteran, I'm still looking at other veterans out there who I believe is better than who are better than Dak Prescott, because it's not just there's more than one quarterback that's better than Dak Prescott. And those guys are performing in the preseason. But it's not about that. It's about the surrounding areas. It's about the receivers, the young receivers out there. You guys saw early on where Jalen Tolbert and somebody else ran the wrong routes and there was miscommunication there. You know, I would much rather deal with those type of things in preseason for 1 or 2 drives rather than going into the first game and we're dealing with it. But yeah, I mean, I watched Mahomes throw 19 passes against Washington yesterday in the preseason, and then he played last week as well. And then Josh Allen went in yesterday and also led his team to a TD drive. So for me, it's about the preseason not being too big for these guys because quite honestly, we haven't won anything. So if I'm looking at teams that have gone further than us doing this and managing their roster this way, then, you know, I don't know why we can't do it. Now, one thing somebody said to me was, well, Tyron Smith is hurt. So do you want Dak being out there with Tyron Smith hurt? And then I thought about it. Well, that is an issue in itself. If Tyron Smith is hurt, and Tyron Smith has been hurt throughout multiple camps and stuff like that, this is no new news. So if that's the case, go out and get a swing tackle that's worth the damn. If I can't get my first team work in a preseason game, that probably should be a dress rehearsal for these guys. If I can't get them work because my perennial hurt tackle is hurt every year, then damn, bro, what the hell am I doing with the roster? That means I know I don't have a swing tackle. You know what I'm saying? That means I know I don't have a swing tackle. So that means if Tyron does go down throughout the game, through a real game, and I know that it's real games, Josh Ball is the guy that's going to go in there and you don't trust him. That's a red flag for me, guys. That's just how I feel about it. Jason Renfro says we need him to get those reps to be better prepared for the season opener. Yeah, but it's not just about him. It's about everybody. It's about the communication of the front line and his cadence and all that type of stuff. Like, I feel like a dress rehearsal is a rite of passage. And I kind of feel like our players are privileged because they don't go through this preseason process and they're not as hardened. And we don't – I know that the offense came out humming last year, but the defense didn't come out as humming. As a team, we didn't come out – we didn't learn how to play as a team until probably a couple games in. So that was a big issue for me. But yeah, I just wanted to see the first offense for a couple possessions, even if he just handed the damn ball off. You know, I just wanted to see them out there and you know, being able to get to the speed of the game because, like I pointed out last night on my tweets, this is not the same roster. It's not the same roster. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to look at it or not, we still have question marks on the O-line and we still have question marks in the receiver room, which are question marks that we created for ourselves. So, again, I mean, that's how I feel about it. You know, maybe people feel different. Either way, though, I think we saw some good work last night. So that's not to, you know, take away from some of the good things that we saw last night. We saw a lot of good. We saw some bad, but we saw a lot of good. Now, second bullet point that I have on my note sheet right here, because I do have a note sheet. My second tweet was, did y'all see number 41 fly to the football, who is Marquise Bell. You guys have probably seen the video that I did on him for right after we picked him up as an undrafted free agent. Marquise Bell is a football player, y'all. And not only is Marquise Bell a football player, the first play of the game, he came up and he helped with the tackle. Then the second play, he came up and he was there to fly there. And I said right then and there, I need 41 on my 53-man roster. I need Marquise Bell on the final roster, guys. He needs to be playing for us, because I'm not saying that he should play in front of Jaron Curse. Obviously, he's going to be a backup, but I need this kid on specials. I need him there for spot duty. I need him there because I think that he's the future of our defensive backfield. And it's not just him. Mukwamu played his ass off yesterday as well. He had a pick on within the first 4 plays. So we ended up getting a turnover. Mukwamu came over and made a hell of a play. He's another one. And then it makes me wonder, guys like Donovan Wilson on the bubble. Like, I feel more comfortable now cutting Donovan Wilson if need be, because I feel confident in those young 2 guys back there. Mukwamu actually saved us on a play where I thought that Kelvin Joseph wasn't in position. And it might have been covered too, possibly. But Mukwamu came over and made a hell of a play. You know what I'm saying? That was my third bullet, talking about Mukwamu. I thought that he played a hell of a game yesterday, from first whistle to last whistle. The running back play. Throughout this camp, I've talked about it. I think that the Cowboys running back play has been really good, from Dowdell, Malik Davis. Malik Davis has probably been the best one, to be honest with y'all. And that's saying a lot, because Dowdell had Rico Dowdell, however you say his name, has balled his ass off, number 23. And then you got number 32 coming in. I forget how you pronounce his name. It's like Shumpkin. I mean, to be honest, I don't think he's going to be on the roster, but he's a very good player. These backs have been showing up throughout this preseason, like they're trying to get on this roster, and they're playing with their hair on fire. And it has a lot to do with something that I'm going to talk about later on. But yeah, the running backs have played their asses off in this preseason. Yesterday we ran well again. So we ran well last week, down up over 140 yards. And I'm not sure exactly what we did last night, but we ran the ball really well, especially in between the tackles. And the interior line played very well. Jalen Tolbert, I thought, had some ups and downs yesterday. Early on, there was a miscommunication with that route where he had him and somebody else in the same area. And then you had that play where he was in the back of the end zone and he didn't get that second foot down. I think Jalen Tolbert is going to be fine. He's going to be just fine. I think he's right at where he needs to be. And I think that, as a rookie, he's going to get his experience. And once he gets his experience, he's going to be so much better. The Reaper says this team from the backups is way better stopping the run and pushing the O-line to give the running backs holes. Yeah, I think we played up front much better this week. Last week, we stopped the run pretty good. I think that we did a fairly good job of running and stopping the run. Man of the hour. Probably should have been the first thing that I talked about. But, I kind of talked about things in order as I was tweeting yesterday. Turbo Turpin needs to be on this team. I think he made the team last night. And Jason Renfro put this: Turpin on special teams is going to be a big splash for our team to give a big boost on offense. Absolutely. That is the absolute truth. We haven't had this good of a return man or threat of a return man since Dwayne Harris. I don't know if you guys remember Dwayne Harris. Now, I know we had Lucky Whitehead, but I never thought Lucky Whitehead was the threat that Dwayne Harris was. And, I'm a DMV guy, and, I got love for my guy Lucky Whitehead. Would love to have him on the show sometime, and I thought that he was pretty good. But Dwayne Harris was that dude when he was here. Dwayne Harris would turn a punt around in a second or kick return. And I think that Turpin can be that for us. When you watch him out there, he's got that little body. He reminds me of Brandon Banks for Washington. Now, I know that this is a Cowboys channel and it's not a Redskin or Commanders channel, but Brandon Banks was pretty damn good for them in the return game. And that's what Turpin, I think, can add to us. And I think that he can also add a dynamic to our offense if we can get him the ball in space, get him some handoffs, some end around, some pitches and stuff like that. I think that we could use him as maybe like a Tyreek role or something like that. Because, I mean, yeah, we'll have him for specials, but I think that we're going to have some decisions to make in that receiver room as far as the roster goes. And I think that Turpin not only adds us take the top off type speed, but he gives us something in the special teams game. So he definitely has to be on our roster, definitely, without a question. And, speaking of running back play, I kind of thought about this last night. I need one of those running backs on the roster that we didn't think. At first, we were like, let's carry two. Normally, we carry three. Maybe we'll carry a fullback. But I think that third running back needs to be Malik Davis because Malik Davis, while talking about Turpin, had a really good block on that first kick return. And another player that I'm going to talk about later on had some key blocks on both returns. And that's something that we need. We need guys that are going to be backups that are going to contribute in the special teams room as well. And I think that Turpin's going to be that. I think Malik Davis could be that for us as well. So the Reaper said something that I talked about and I tweeted yesterday where he said Turpin changed of speed on the end around from a 1 yard to an 8 yard run. I think that might have been, was it an end around or was it a quick screen to him? Either way, he was in the flats. And yeah, he outran the angle. And that's something that adds a dynamic to our offense that we have not had. And I would love to have him on the roster. And I think that he made it last night. They actually made him take his shoulder pads off and all of that type of stuff. So I think that it's safe to say Turpin will be here. Jabril Cox, it was nice to see him flying around. At one point, he made 2 tackles in a row. He's going to be a pretty good player for us. He's going to spell Anthony Barr a bit. And while he gets his legs back under us, the Reaper says it was an end around. Yeah, so definitely. Jabril Cox was a vital part of the defense last night. It was good to see him in there making some plays. Definitely. The interior O-line, man. Let's clap it up for the interior O-line yesterday. Notable guys that I want to talk about on that interior were Tyler Smith, which was a breath of fresh air to see Tyler Smith go out there and play as well as he did yesterday. Technique was much better, much improved, and he was a force in there on the interior running the football with Malik Davis running behind him. Malik Davis and Rico, they definitely were a tandem yesterday. And Farniak, Farniak, I think is an unsung guy that we need to keep on this roster because he played a little guard yesterday, but we know that he plays center. And I honestly think if there was a true center battle, I think that he could win it personally. The guys that we have at center behind Biotish are, I think, pushing him, and they're playing really well. Really well. You know what I'm saying? Interior O-line, I mean, we're moving. They're getting to the second level on the zone. There was one play that I wanted to talk about specifically. It was close to the goal line where you just see Tyler Smith come around and just lock on the defensive tackle. And you see Farniak go to the second level and just smack somebody. And then Malik Davis is behind him, and we got a 9-yard gain on it. Malik Davis running the ball hard. Whew, man, it gave me chills. And then there were a couple of fourth down conversions we had where we ran right behind Farniak and we ran right behind Tyler Smith. I think that it was Dowdle that ended up getting the first down on 4th and 1. Oh, man, look, that interior line was really good. Somebody said his name earlier because I have a note on this guy as well. Jason Renfro said Ferguson. Jake Ferguson had a great game yesterday, guys. He had a great game. And not only did he have 2 catches, one of them ended up being for yak on the play where he had Will Greer throwing him the ball. And that's the one thing that I said about him in the scouting report was that I feel like he's a guy that can get us a little bit of yak in some chunk plays because he doesn't go down easy. It's something about him. He's not necessarily shifty, but at the same time, it might be that he's kind of deceptive in how, it's kind of like he's a guy that's a little bit slippery for his size. And then on special teams, if you guys go back and you watch both returns from Turpin yesterday, he had a really good double team block with McEwen. And McEwen just kind of came in and just smacked somebody and knocked him to the ground. But they had a great double team where Turpin was able to kind of cut back and weave through and get out on that first kick return. And then if you go and look at the punt return, Ferguson was the guy that came back and laid the guy out, and that set Turpin free on that punt return. So not only will Ferguson offer us help in the 12 personnel, which looked really good yesterday. I was getting a little bit sick of Mark talking about 12 personnel yesterday, but he was absolutely right. 12 personnel looked really good yesterday with those guys. And Ferguson offers something on the special team side that can help us. And that was that's what made him have a great game to me yesterday, was that I felt his snaps that he played yesterday offered value to this team. And you need the little things in order to build a championship team. So Jake Ferguson, salute. You had a pretty good game yesterday. So we talked about a lot of highlights, but we're going to talk about Kelvin Joseph right now. And I don't think Kelvin Joseph had the best of games yesterday. He didn't have a good preseason game last week as well. And they're giving him every opportunity in the world. They're giving him every opportunity in the world to be that guy for us. And he just hasn't, Nashawn Wright didn't have a really good day. He didn't have a great day yesterday either. But Kelvin Joseph is just playing like a guy that is struggling with confidence right now. He's struggling with confidence right now, and it shows. He made a couple plays yesterday. I know he had a breakup. I know that Nashawn Wright had a breakup too, but they're having a hard time finishing plays right now, both of them. But Kelvin Joseph being probably the worst of the two. And I'm a little concerned at this point because I expected him to play a little bit better yesterday than he did. But, he's got one more preseason game, and ultimately we know that he's not going to start. But if there was a battle for cornerback 4 right now, Kelvin would be on the outside looking in from what I've looked at. And I still believe Nashawn Wright has played a little bit better. But then again, you got the guy Bland, Deron Bland, has really stepped up and played a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? A little bit better. The Reaper says, I disagree. Wright is worse to me. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. We're not going to agree with everything. The thing I see about Wright, I don't see Wright's confidence shot. There's a difference. Like Wright is in position. He just needs to finish plays. Kelvin Joseph is beat. When he's beat, and he's not in position to make a play. I can live with the guy being in position to make a play because that means that his habits are good habits. Kelvin Joseph is not really trusting himself, and that's a lot worse in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Definitely worse, especially at the corner position, because if you look at it, they're really targeting him. They targeted him last week. They were going at Joseph. With Nashawn Wright, I don't see them targeting him as much. I just see him when they're making the throws towards him, he's, he's just not coming down with it or not making the play. So, and I think the coaches will tell you Nashawn Wright has had a better camp overall. So the 2 preseason games weren't great for Nashawn Wright, but he's had a better camp. Kelvin Joseph has been kind of getting beat throughout. I don't know that I would really say that there were any bright spots for Kelvin Joseph. But, we'll carry on to Will Greer. Will Greer, and I had this point on my note sheet. Will Greer versus Cooper Rush. They talked about it in practice. They've said that Will Greer has looked much better than Cooper Rush. I don't think that how do I explain this? Because Cooper Rush played a little better yesterday behind the run. You know, we were able to run. We were able to get some good things to happen in the run game. Cooper Rush was able to get some completions. But I feel like Will Grier has a better command of the offense. I think that he feels more comfortable. I see that he can make more plays with his legs. I see that the guys that are playing with Will Grier, they look like they are more energized. And that same thing happened with DiNucci last week. I don't think Cooper Rush really has it when it comes to command. I think that's really what it is. We can always point to that Minnesota game last year. We can point to that and say, well, Cooper Rush had that Minnesota game, and that's cool. I thought Kellen Moore called a hell of a game that day, and I also think that we got the ball to our playmakers, which was something that I didn't think. That game plan that we had against Minnesota, I felt like we should have had mostly all year with Dak Prescott that we didn't have. But Will Grier, as things broke down, he was able to kind of get out of situations and make good plays, throw the ball away. He threw the ball away, I think, twice yesterday. He was 6 for 10, I think, for 98 yards. So 2 of them were throwaways in situations where we didn't have anything down the field, but he's able to get out and just, throw the ball away. And those are good plays right there because they're not interceptions. That's not him backing up and just throwing the ball up or anything like that. That's not him making plays and not showing composure. I think that Will Grier just looked more comfortable. He has a better football. There's a lot more zip. I feel more comfortable with Will Grier as my backup right now. And I know Cooper Rush has been here quite a bit. So I know they're not – I mean, let's just be real. They're not going to make that a competition. But Will Grier is a better quarterback than Cooper Rush. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a better quarterback than Cooper Rush right now. We'll see what they do with the last preseason game. But I don't know that you'll be able to stash Will Grier on the practice squad if he puts together another good performance, because I thought yesterday was a good performance from Grier. Not just from a throwing aspect, but I just felt like the team rallied around him a little bit more. DiNucci has not been bad. We didn't really get a chance to really see too much yesterday because we were up so big that it really didn't, we kind of, 4-minute drill, you're handing the ball off and stuff like that. So, but we did get a chance to see the kicking battle. And I thought that the kickers, for the most part, had a pretty solid day yesterday. Liam made a kick. I know that Maher made a kick. Maher made some extra points. We had an opportunity to kick a lot of extra points yesterday. And then I know Maher, they threw him out there for that 61-yard field goal, which kind of wasn't fair. It was on line. I think that if Maher had a whole camp, he probably makes that kick. But preseason is when you get an opportunity to really see those type of things like that. You get a chance at a 61-yard field goal to see if he's going to make it. So I'm looking forward to seeing another week with the kickers. And seeing who can make what, seeing what scenarios they can go through. Somebody said Nakobe Dean is getting tossed around today. Good. You know what I'm saying? Because, I like Nakobe Dean when it came through the draft process, but at the end of the day, he's an Eagle. So, I don't really care too much about that other than the fact that I just want to whoop their ass. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to whoop their ass. What's going on, Jose? What's going on, my guy? You made a comment, and you said Tolbert is not that dude. Tyler Smith is that dude. Quite frankly, they both have had their ups and downs throughout this camp. I think we should have a little bit more patience, but think about what you just said. Tyler Smith is a first-round pick. He's supposed to be that dude. We shouldn't put so much pressure on Tolbert to come in and just be a day one starter. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be a day one starter. He's a third-round pick. Just because the front office made the mistake of giving Amari Cooper away for a bag of potato chips, that's not on Tolbert. And it's not his fault that they decided to go out and sign Michael Gallup hurt when they knew the situation. Let Cedric Wilson walk and then sign James Washington, somebody who really kind of is not really that proven. So it's not really like we shouldn't put too much pressure on Tolbert. We should allow him to develop like he should. He's a 3rd-round pick, and I think that he's shown some things. I think that he can. I think that he can play in this league, and I think that he would develop just fine. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Let's see. Devin Harper, number 50, the linebacker. He was flying around that field yesterday to the point that I'm just like, man, who is this number 50 cat? This dude is everywhere, and he's playing tenacious. And I want to say in a scrimmage, in the inter-squad scrimmage, he blew somebody ass up. Might have been Tyler Smith. I think it was Tyler Smith on a goal line drill or something like that. Devin Harper looked really good last night, man. I'm not sure where he is on the depth chart, but from what I understand, Boss Cowboy has been throwing it out there quite a bit on this Devin Harper kid. And he looked really good yesterday. I'm interested to see when he gets more snaps next week. Hopefully he gets more snaps. What he does with them, because he definitely stood out like a sore thumb. And it wasn't a bad thing. He stood out because he did very well. He did very, very well. You know what I'm saying? And my last point, I had some questions because, you know, John Ridgeway is a guy we talk about quite a bit. How's Ridgeway looking? How's he doing? We were expecting him to come in and push some of these interior defensive linemen. And I think that he's had a pretty solid camp. But I can't help but notice that he played pretty late in the preseason game yesterday, him and Sam Williams. And we know that Sam Williams, they're trying to bring him along. But with Ridgeway, there's such with Osa, Gallimore, Watkins, all of those guys, Tristan Hill, all of those guys are playing so well right now. Tristan Hill had a great play yesterday for a strip sack, by the way. All of those guys are playing so well, and obviously they're in front of him when it comes to reps. Is Ridgeway on the bubble right now? You know, I had to ask that question because Tristan Hill is playing really well. Like I said, Gallimore was probably our best, one of our best. He's been our best defensive lineman anyway. Carlos Watkins has made some plays. You know, the defensive end battle, I mean, that's why we know where Sam Williams is, but Sam Williams is going to be on the roster. So I had to ask that question. You know, you guys let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that Ridgeway is on the bubble of making this roster and then eventually them signing him back on practice squad? Because it looks like for me that guys are in front of him and possibly they're stashing Ridgeway in order to be able to bring him back for practice squad, because it's not like they gave up a whole lot to get him. It's not like they gave a whole bunch in the draft. I think he was a 5th-round pick where they had multiple 5th-round picks. And guys are clearly playing better. And I'm not sure that the trade market is high for any of our veterans on the interior. You got to play the better guys. And I think that, you know, all the guys that I named have played a little bit better. It just depends on whether or not you feel like, I don't know, like it's different. With the bright lights, it's different because in practice, it's like Ridgeway he's starting fights. But from what I've seen in these 2 preseason games, I haven't really seen too much from Ridgeway, but I've seen something from the others. So, yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting. And now I'm going to open it up, man, for some fan Q&A, man. You know, not that I have fans or anything like that, but, you know, maybe I'll just change it to Q&A because I'm a humble dude, you know. I'm not somebody that feels like I have fans or anything like that. So I'll just put Q&A. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So Q&A, man, feel free to ask questions. Carlos Holloway said Turpin is a guarantee to me. Yes, he's a guarantee to me as well to make the 53-man roster. Jose Christian says Ridgeway stays over Watkins. Plus, Basham is vesting veteran. Can be brought back after he is cut. I just don't think Ridgeway is better than those guys right now. I mean, I just don't. I don't see it. But I mean, I don't know. Is it because they like him? Because he's not outplaying them. If anything, I feel like if it was even, you got to go Ridgeway, but I don't think it's been even. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's very interesting to think about. You know, Tristan Hill, because he was a guy we had on the bubble. We thought that Ridgeway was going to completely run away with the interior situation, and I just don't feel like he has. And Tristan possibly solidified himself with that strip sack yesterday. So, you know, Jose Christian says Dan Quinn loves Ridgeway. I mean, I'm pretty sure he loves Watkins too. He loves a lot of these guys. There's a log jam there. You got to put the best guys there, and they're better than him. I mean, I mean, right now at least, you know what I'm saying, because they're veterans and they know how to. I don't know. And Bohanna's another one too. Bohanna's playing his ass off right now. You know what I'm saying? Osa, bruh, it is really deep in that interior defensive line right now. So, Carlos Holloway says, is Izzy a lock to make the 53-man roster? I was just talking about him earlier. I would like to see him on the 53-man roster. I think that he played really good at safety yesterday. It appears now, I know Malik Hooker can kind of play a little bit more center field than those guys, and I know that Donovan Wilson can kind of play a little bit more center field. I'm not so sure that Bell can play center field or if Izzy can, but I sure as hell would love to see Izzy and Bell on this roster. I'm not sure how they would have to do it. Maybe we would have to go thin at a position. And I was thinking this yesterday. If you had to go thin at a position, which one which one would you rather go thin at? Which position? For me, I was like, damn, well, we got tight ends that can line up split wide. We have Tony Pollard, who can line up in the slot. Obviously, we got Turpin, who can play in the slot a bit. I might go thin at receiver, where I'm maybe only carrying 5, you know. And I would like to have 3 running backs. And then defensive line, man. I mean, maybe you go a little bit deeper there. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? Just something to think about. I'm gonna go through and see how the roster makeup was last year, and see how our roster is this year, and see where it makes sense for us to go thin, because we have to go thin somewhere. We're not gonna go thin at DB because we got corners that can play out the ad. We got corners. We got safeties. The safety room is going to be that I think you might be able to go 5 there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like these guys don't help you in specials. Not to mention our tight ends will help us in specials. Sprinkle, Ferguson showed you last night that he can help you with the specials. So, and then if we go like 12 personnel quite a bit, I think you can go thin at receiver and get those guys back on practice squad, because I don't think somebody's going to go out and get Vasher. I think Semi makes the roster. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting to see. And then I think you can cut Washington. I think at this point, Dennis Houston has proven that he can play. You know, Dennis Houston has proven that he can be better for what we need than James Washington right now. So it's just interesting to see who the locks at receiver will be. And then we know Gallup won't start the season. So, you know, it's just really interesting to see how it can all play out. Carlos Holloway says Bland could make the 53-man roster. Absolutely. I think Bland is your corner 4 right now, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. The Reaper says, DMV, our linebacker depth is so much better than I thought we were, and we have Clark in the back pocket. Man, I wish Clark was out there with Cox this preseason. Absolutely. That's a very good point, Reaper. Thank you for bringing up that point, because I was just talking about Devin Harper. I don't know if you had the opportunity to really watch 50 fly around yesterday, but I was thoroughly impressed with how he played yesterday. I'm not sure that he's better than any of those guys, but he offers an attitude, and if he can play specials, man, whew. Jose Christian says Joseph is QB cornerback 4. He's proven in the NFL game. Deshaun Wright played last year too. He played last year too in a game. He played damn near. I don't think he didn't start, but Nashawn Wright has played. He might have started. I know Nashawn Wright has played, so he's had experience as well. But Deron Bland is outplaying both of them right now. Let's just call it what it is. And you got to go with who's playing better. And corner is a position where you got to be confident. And I feel like Deron Bland is playing with confidence right now, a confidence that neither one of them are playing with right now. So, Carlos Holloway, yeah, I talked about this earlier. So, you might have came in a little bit later, but can we acknowledge how Jabril Cox looks? Yeah, at one point he had 2 tackles in a row. I thought that he manned the defense pretty well yesterday. For somebody that's coming off of an ACL injury, I think that he came out and he played very well yesterday, very well. Jose Christian, Joseph played well. When last year, he didn't play well last night. I don't know what game you watched last night. He didn't play well last night. He played like somebody that's lacking confidence right now. You might mean last year, but he didn't play well last night. He didn't play well last week. You know what I'm saying? He didn't play well at all last night. And it was a few people who noticed it. It was a few people who noticed it. Joseph. Shoot, that long crossing route that he got beat on. There was huge separation on that play. Definitely. I don't know. But, there's another week to figure out things. But I know that as a second-round pick right now, he's definitely not playing like it. Yeah, nah, bro. Kelvin Joseph did not play well last night. He did not. That's just a lie. That's cap. That's what the kids say today. That's cap. Because, Wright was at least in position for those plays. Kelvin Joseph was getting beat. As a matter of fact, what's the name saved him last night? Mukwamu. On one of them zone coverages, Mukwamu came over top and saved him on a play where he looked completely out of position. Completely out of position last night. But I'd have to go back and watch that play. Maybe they were in cover 2. But even if they were in cover 2, he did not get back like he was sinking from cover 2. He was getting back like snap, I messed up the coverage. And that's happened quite a bit, It's happened quite a bit. Carlos Holloway says, we'll see in our preseason game against the Seahawks. Yeah, we definitely will. We'll see a lot. Again, damn, I really wish the first offense would have played at least a possession last night for a bit of a dress rehearsal. That way it could just be all the young guys' game next week. And then we're getting ready for week 1 because we still have a lot of question marks. Mary Alvarez says, I want to see more of Sam Williams. Haven't seen him done big plays, but I'll still give him a shot. He played a lot last night, actually. He got a penalty last night, which I thought was a BS penalty as well. But they kind of put him on handcuffs a little bit last night, Sam Williams. He did his job as far as contain on the outside, but as far as pass rushing, he wasn't really able to get off blocks that well. But his let me turn on this game. Y'all keep talking about the Eagles, man. I turned off the TV because I wanted to talk to y'all, but y'all have got me y'all have got me definitely interested. Can you guys tell me what game it's on? Can you guys tell me? Oh, sorry, what channel the Eagles game is on? I'm gonna check and see. Because you guys got me interested in watching the Eagles play right now. Sorry about that. Is it on NFL Network, guys? Let me know which channel it's on. I definitely am interested in seeing it now. Because, like I said, I always talk to Eagles fans like, I don't care what y'all doing right now, but you guys got me intrigued. So I'm definitely going to look. Okay, I see it now. How does Darius Slay look today, guys? Did Amari Cooper whoop his ass today too? Because, I kept hearing, all these Eagle fans got all this stuff to say about Trayvon Diggs, but Darius Slay got beat by one of the nastiest slow-go routes that I've seen. We look like we're in the third quarter. So somebody said Jordan Davis isn't looking good right now. I'm going to answer a question from Sugar Daddy real fast. Cover 3 is base. Can KJ fit the base defense? Yeah. I mean, he can. So don't make no mistake, right? Kelvin Joseph and Deshaun Wright aren't playing necessarily the best football right now, but they're not playing terrible. Not playing terrible. They're not playing like scrubs. We just would like them to play. We would like them to play better. And I think he can fit the base defense. And I think I think it was Reaper said, no, I'm sorry, it was Jose Christian. He has shown that he can play well in the scheme. So understand too, the things that we're seeing today, they're just trying to see what guys can do and what they can't. I seen last night we did a lot of press, whereas we can kind of base things throughout the year, and the scheme could be a little bit different. And understand too, Micah Parsons isn't playing, D Law isn't playing. We're gonna be Anthony Barr isn't playing, so we'll be able to disguise things. We'll be able to send blitzes where the front seven will be able to make up for a lot of that stuff as well. So keep that in mind. I did see a play last night where Kelvin Joseph drove on the football, and I liked it. And I was like, that's the confidence I want to see. That's the Kelvin Joseph we drafted. So I saw flashes of it last night. I just didn't see it enough. Appreciate it, Jason Renfro. He said it's on NFL Network. And the Reaper, this is a part that I can't really stand, us being scared of injuries. Because I'm looking at championship-type teams out there not afraid of injuries. They're just playing football. We're afraid of injuries. And I wonder if that has to do with Mike McCarthy's philosophy, or if I wonder if the front office is saying, I don't want these guys playing because of what happened to Tony a couple years ago. When I say Tony, I mean Tony Romo. You know, I mean, I'm just a fool. I just believe in your first team getting reps in games, and I believe in dress rehearsals, and I believe in continuity. I believe in continuity instead of figuring out what we have in week one, because last year we had a lot of question marks, and maybe they're doing it for scouting purposes. I'm not sure what advantage you're getting from it. I don't really think you're getting much of an advantage from it. But like I said, if you just want to keep Dak upright and stuff like that, just hand the ball off a couple times just to get him out there, just to get, the calls and stuff like that, cadence in front of a crowd and all that stuff. Like I'm really big on that. And that's something that I always liked doing in preseason when I was coaching my team. You get better at football playing football. I understand that they're professionals. Some of these guys are veterans, but like I said, we got young guys out there that need the experience with some of these guys that they're going to be playing next to. Jason Renfro said this, and this is how I felt about our secondary, our corners, really. Joseph will make one play and turn around and get beat on two. Yeah. And that's how Tolbert has been at the receiver position. He'll make two good plays and then have a mental lapse. And that's expected. He's a rookie, it's expected. It's going to happen. He's a rookie. And it's good that he's getting his feet wet. I just wish that he was getting his feet wet a little bit more with my starting quarterback. Oh, man. Look at Cleveland running this football on these Eagles. So which number is Nakobe Dean? Can you guys let me know what number Nakobe Dean is and if he's still out there playing? Because I got the volume down right now because I don't want any copyright issues or anything like that. Okay, hold on. Reaper, DMV, the Eagles versus Browns today. They played the backups because the Brown field has new turf down and it's raining, so they don't want anyone to be – okay, that's what you guys were talking about. Okay, gotcha. And if you guys can, man, make sure you smash that like button, man. Smash that like button if you haven't. Oh, man, touchdown Browns. Whew, let me tell you something about the Browns, man. They make me so jealous. And I got to look this up to see if my guy's still over there. But Callahan, Callahan has that line right. And we haven't had our line like that since Callahan was with us. I mean, this is probably their third string, and they're just pushing the line of scrimmage like these guys are just little boys. Just little boys. Is he still with them? Yeah, he's the offensive line coach for the Browns. Oh man, the Reaper. The Browns are running up and down that field. Yeah, they are, man. They are. And with the backs that we have, man, I would love to be able to continue to have that push. But we did well last night, so I'm not gonna complain. We did well last night, and hopefully we can continue to build on it. Okay, N'Kobe Dean is number 17, and Jordan Davis is number 90. Cool. Yeah, man. Well, we're pushing up on an hour. And I appreciate you guys for stopping by, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Let's get the algorithm up. I probably should have said that earlier. But everybody, I feel like this was a great discussion. I was able to share my notes from the game yesterday. I thought that the Cowboys played much better. Again, it's preseason, so wins don't matter. They don't really matter in preseason. All that really matters is that guys are out and executing what they're supposed to be able to do. Carlos Holloway says, does Dennis Houston make the 53-man roster? I think Dak Prescott has shown a lot of confidence in Dennis Houston. I think Dennis Houston has made the most of his reps. I think that Dennis Houston, with his body type and the way that he plays, he offers us the best Michael Gallup substitution, being out until he can come back, between him and Noah Brown. So I think he will make the 53-man. The fact that I don't think we saw much of him last night was proof of that as well. Who's going to be our slot cornerback since Jordan Lewis is hurt, or are they going big slot with Curse? This depends on how long Jordan Lewis is out, because maybe Jordan Lewis will be back for week 1. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll be all right. Maybe he'll be okay. I don't doubt that at all. It doesn't seem like he's going to be out for a while. But if he is, I think your slot guy. I mean, what I probably would do, I don't know if they do it because he's had slot experience. Anthony Brown could do it. You know that he has the experience to do so. I mean, if need be, you probably could do that, or you could go big slot. You could go big slot if you need to. You got the safeties for it. Whatever it is, I trust Dan Quinn in whatever he's doing. But guys, I'm going to get on out of here. But before I do, man, I want to share a treat with you guys. I got a little bit of an outro video that I want to share with you guys. So let me know how you like it.